clase. Hoy estamos en Santiago, Chile. Let's take a look at what we'll be covering in this first lesson. We'll start with an overview of the Spanish alphabet in its entirety. Next, we'll take a more in-depth look at the 5 Spanish vowels. We'll conclude with a short practice activity. ¿Listos? Vamos entonces. Today, I've decided to take you on a short walk through the very heart of Santiago, Chile. Santiago is the capital of the South American country of Chile. I think it's only fitting that we begin our course here, because it was in Santiago where I first began to learn the Spanish language. I've walked these very streets as I struggle to learn the same language you're trying to learn right now. The building you're looking at here is called La Bolsa de Comercio de Santiago, or the Santiago Stock Exchange. Founded in 1893, La Bolsa de Comercio de Santiago is the 3rd largest stock exchange in Latin America, behind Brazil and Mexico. We'll take just a short walk down La Calle Moneda to another one of my favorite places in the city, El Palacio de la Moneda. Up here to the right, we get a glimpse at the variety of businesses that can be found within this shopping center. In addition to the internationally recognized McDonald's, you see a variety of other eateries and stores. Just a little walk down from the shopping center, we come to one of Chile's most recognizable banks. Right here, we can see the logo for that bank. It's called El Banco Santander. Although we can see many cars as we make our way down to El Palacio de la Moneda, many Chileans make frequent use of the city's public transportation system, which consists of buses, taxis, and the underground subway called El Metro. And here it is, in all its awesome glory, El Palacio de la Moneda. Before I tell you more about this magnificent building, let's get this lesson started. Ahora, la lección. First up is an overview of the Spanish alphabet. Notice that the vowels have been highlighted in red. Let's pronounce each letter together. Repeat after me. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, Ñ, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. You should know that the Royal Spanish Academy, sort of the governing body in charge of the Spanish language, has recently removed 2 letters from the alphabet, CH, or che, and double L, or eye. These sounds are still very much a part of the language, but they are no longer represented as separate letters in the alphabet. Okay, let's take a look at these vowels. The first thing you need to know is that the vowel system in Spanish is much more predictable than the vowel system in English. I'll show you what I mean. Let's take, for example, the English vowel A. As my daughter's refrigerator magnet constantly reminds me, A says A and ah. This is fine, except it also says a confusing mix of other sounds as well. Let's take a look. At, ate, about, peak, aura. However, in Spanish, and only with very few exceptions, an ah is an ah is an ah. Let's take a look. Arriba, águila, amar. Now how about something more complex? Here we have one of the major northern Chilean cities. It looks to be quite intimidating with regard to pronunciation, but let's focus just on the A vowel. Antofagasta. Antofagasta. Let's now take a quick look at the rest of the vowels, and we'll see how the same predictability that we saw with the pronunciation of the A will also be found in the other vowels. E, estar, elefante, elevación. I, importante, incluir, impresionante. O, oro, octubre, oreja. U, uno, universidad, Uruguay. Ahora, regresemos a las calles de Santiago. As mentioned earlier, this building is called El Palacio de la Moneda. Literally translated, El Palacio de la Moneda means coin palace. The building gets its name because it existed as a mint producing coins from 1814 to 1929. During the subsequent years, the building served as the seat of government and as the presidential residence. On September 11, 1973, the Chilean Air Force bombed La Moneda in a military coup which resulted in the beginning of Augusto Pinochet's 17-year dictatorship. Salvador Allende, elected president at the time, died during the coup. Today, the building stands as a symbol of national pride. Before we finish up this lesson, let's head on up the street to our final destination. As we make our way up the street, you'll notice some of those modes of transportation that we mentioned earlier. And here we are. Now, before telling you about this beautiful building, let's go back to the lesson one more time for some contextualized practice. Here, we have a small excerpt from a poem written by the Chilean poet Pablo Neruda, who in 1971 won the Nobel Prize for Literature. The poem is entitled Tengo Miedo, or in English, I'm afraid. Since we'll be covering some of the Spanish consonants in the next lesson, we'll focus our reading only on the vowels. I want you to only pronounce the vowels of the text. So for example, in the first two words of the excerpt, you would say e, o, ie, o. Go ahead and pause the video now while you read through the text. Feel free to read through the text several times if you need to. When you're ready, push play and we'll wrap up this lesson. Excelente! Now that you've read through the excerpt, I'll read it through for you so that you can check your pronunciation of the vowels. Tengo miedo. La tarde es gris y la tristeza del cielo se abre como una boca de muerto. Tiene mi corazón un llanto de princesa olvidada en el fondo de un palacio desierto. Ahora regresemos a Santiago. The building that you are looking at is La Universidad de Chile. Chileans refer to it simply as La U. Founded in 1842, La U is the largest and oldest institution of higher education in Chile. With only 3 exceptions, every Chilean president elected in the 20th century has graduated from this university. 2 other famous alumni include Pablo Neruda, the poet whose work we just read, and Gabriela Mistral, another Chilean winner of the Nobel Prize for Literature. This brings us to the conclusion of Lesson 1. In the next lesson, we'll head out into the Chilean country as we go over some of the more problematic Spanish consonants. Hasta pronto!